The amount of problems that can be solved simply through stepping on a treadmill 3 10-minute walks a day. That's it. That's all you got to do. You want to lose some weight? Cool. Eat breakfast, go for a 10-minute walk. And I'm not talking a casual, leisurely stroll. It's not, I'm walking the dog so that she can go to the bathroom. No, you are walking with a purpose.
Welcome to episode 612 of the TerryWilson3.com podcast. In this episode, Terry interviews Tim Parkinson, a military veteran who has proudly served in both the Army and Air Force. After his deployment in Kuwait, Tim embarked on a new mission, starting a strength training coaching business where he helps his clients achieve health in their faith, family, and physical fitness. Tim's unique background as a physical therapist, coupled with his military service and leadership within his church, gives him unparalleled experience in guiding others towards their health goals. Terry sat down with Tim to discuss his journey from Connecticut to Texas and now to the Carolinas. They delved into various intriguing topics, from the attempted assassination attempt on Donald Trump to the effectiveness of Planet Fitness's approach to fitness. No topic was off limits, and you won't want to miss their honest opinions on these issues. So stay tuned to hear from our special guest, Tim Parkinson, next.
Unlock the power within you. Discover the untapped potential waiting to be unleashed. You Are Worth More isn't just a book. It's a transformative guide to understanding your unique value in today's ever-evolving marketplace. Visit youareworthmorebook.com and claim your free copy. Within these pages, you'll unravel the secrets to identify your distinct strengths, refine your skills, and ignite the passion to pursue your true worth. Life isn't just about survival, it's about thriving. This book is your roadmap to not only surviving, but excelling in a world that demands your best, about recognizing your potential, developing your talents, and finding the inspiration to chase after what truly matters to you. Let You Are Worth More be your companion on this journey. It's not just a book. It's a catalyst for change. Empower yourself, elevate your skills, and embrace the opportunities that await. Visit youareworthmorebook.com today and embark on the path to realizing your full potential. Your worth is far more than you might imagine. Claim your free copy now and begin your transformation.
You're listening to TerryWilson3.com. TerryWilson3.com. Inspiring, informative, and entertaining content for the entrepreneur and small business owner.
Hey, we've got a special guest in the studio with us this evening that I was privileged to meet at one of our local Boiling Springs Business Association meetings. And for my members that have been listening, as you have heard me say and advocate, you've got to get involved with your local market. You know, one of the things and one of the challenges that we have as online marketing specialists and people who advocate marketing online is our scope of vision gets so wide because we're on the World Wide Web. We ignore the opportunity that's standing right in front of our face, those meaningful relationships that you can build and nurture and grow from. And I was just telling our guest before we hit record here that I'm an old dog, old school salesperson. I like the knee to knee, face to face, slap your back, how's your mama, how's the kids, you know, that kind of stuff. And you lose some of that when you're constantly just doing business and developing relationships online. Not that you cannot build that, God knows, but we've been blessed here at TW3. And you guys who have come to our You Are Worth More conference here in Greenville, we've been able to maintain and keep those relationships. We initiated it online, but if you look over our membership and some of the close relationships we all have now, it was built online, but then it was cemented when we were able to meet face to face here in Greenville and just continue those relationships over the years. And special shout out to Miss Spelling Bee out there in San Antonio. We've got someone that harkens from your area. I want to welcome Tim Parkinson to the studio. Tim, how are you doing?
Doing great today. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we was just talking a little bit before we hit record, and you were born in Connecticut.
Born in Connecticut. Yep.
And then
moved to San Antonio then found myself here. So little bit deeper dive into that. Born in Connecticut, moved around the state a lot.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have a specific area in which I'll say I'm from.
I got you.
So I kind of went north to south, east to west, and found myself somewhere in the center before I dipped out. Then I went down to San Antonio after graduating from the military's physical therapy assistant school.
Okay.
I got a job offer and started working for BAMC as a physical therapy assistant.
With the military?
Part-time with the military, and then full-time as a civilian contractor.
Okay. And you served as well. What branch?
I served Army and Air Force.
Oh, wow.
Started as a combat medic in the Army. Did a lot of fun stuff there. Then got the opportunity to go to the physical therapy assistant school, which brought me back down to San Antonio for that training. And then I got a job with BAMC in their physical therapy studios as a civilian because I was a reservist, which means I did the 1 week in a month and the 2 weeks a year.
Gotcha.
So kind of like the part-time obligation.
I gotcha.
Shortly after, about the time I was getting married, I decided that I didn't want to have the opportunity to do 1 to 2 year deployments with the Army and transitioned over to the Air Force.
Okay.
Also because my job for the reserves was becoming obsolete. They were actually phasing it out of the unit that I was at. So transitioned to the Air Force, went into logistics plans, had my first deployment during that time.
Was this during the, I would imagine, the Middle East conflict that we've been in for the last 20 some odd years?
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah, that's a good, yeah.
Okay.
It was also during the peak of COVID.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, peak of COVID, right at the tail end of the Middle East conflicts. Went to Kuwait, had a good time for about 6 months, got to play in the desert, fun and sun in the sand.
Did you witness any of that? I hear the news, I don't know, but the burning and all the chemicals that are in the air because of it. So you witnessed some of that. And
yeah, some of it was there. I mean, I would be at the camp and I would look out on the horizon and you would see the burn pits and you would see the smokestacks and I mean, you would see it all. I'm not going to say I was far enough removed to not smell it because it just depended on which way the wind was going that day, but I wasn't right in its face.
Gotcha. Wow. So, deployed over there during COVID. How about that was a unique experience?
That was so much fun.
Right when the world went crazy, you're in the military
the
Middle East.
That was a crazy time in general because my ex-wife at the time, we had just started to have our first child. Found out she was pregnant, and because it was COVID, I couldn't work as a PTA because the facility was closed, so I couldn't go to work and do any of the work, and I couldn't do online work or distance work or telework as a PTA because contractors were not allowed to. It wasn't written into the contract as something that we could do, so I effectively had a job that I couldn't work at, so I couldn't apply for any benefits, and I couldn't go do anything else. So it was really a blessing when I got this deployment. So I remember I talked to her, we discussed it, and it could not have been a better time to go, which sounds really weird because it allowed me to keep money in my household, get health care for my wife and my child, and give them a good, solid pregnancy and birth. Right. And it was awesome.
That's awesome. Leverage those benefits. That's definitely awesome.
And it gave me some time to be with them when I came back from deployment before I had to go back to work as well, which was really good and really important. Gotcha.
Well, during that time period with all of that going on was the craziness around COVID and the compelled treatments that they were. I'm trying to use language that won't get flagged. You have to dance around sometimes, with the bots that listen and listen in.
Yeah. George from the CIA needs to calm down.
Yeah. But was it heated politically like it was in the States with that compelled treatment regimen that they were wanting? And what were the attitudes with the servicemen during that time period that you witnessed? That you can say without saying.
I am going to find a way to say this as nicely as possible.
Yeah.
Honestly, whatever you saw civilian side was just mirrored in the service.
Okay.
You had those that were all in, and you had those that were like, nah, son, you're throwing the wool over our eyes and we don't want it.
Yeah. So people are people regardless if they're in fatigues or not.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's a little more push, a little more steam that goes down on you when you're in a uniform because you signed away some of those rights.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you can't fight to put up for what you believe.
But at the end of the day, I don't know. I'm asking because you hear there was just so much noise around the time. You really don't know what's true and what's not.
Sure.
Was people compelled that they had to or get out?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. I saw, there was a lot of people that said, no, I'm not doing it. And they were dropped immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know some guys that are in the feds, the federal agents, and they started off in local law enforcement here in Spartanburg and then moved up to federal agents. And because they went fed, they lost. And, that was a very trying time for them as well.
Yeah.
Because
they couldn't say no. They had to because it was a federal mandate.
Yeah. It violated what they wanted, but it really didn't matter because of their employment. So, that's awful.
I mean, some people, they wanted to get out already and they were trying to find a way. So it kind of benefited them. There were other people that truly wanted to keep serving, but just wanted more time to do research on it.
Sure.
So it was upsetting. It was sad.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good people that got out simply because they wanted just more time for the research to become more available. And rightfully so. We've kind of seen that moving forward with some of these COVID vaccines that they've caused quite a bit of damage due to the rush that was put on them. But I'll stop there.
Yeah. You got to be, I hate that you have to talk around things, but just as the society we're in, otherwise you get pulled. And so
you ever want to find out my true opinions on it?
Call me
and talk to me off the air. We'll talk.
That's right. Since you're a military person, what's your take on what happened in Butler a couple weeks ago?
Oh, we talking about the little ear clip?
Yeah, the ear clip, the ear piercing.
Gosh, that was so dumb.
How does that happen? How 150 yards out does someone walk in?
Do you understand what the lead for the head of security, what her job was prior to being the head of security is?
I heard she guarded Dorito chips.
Yes. Yeah. She did it very well. Lay's paid her quite
she
well.
Lost no Doritos under her rank.
None failed to escape her grasp. That is a fair, yes, that is exactly what it was. To me, that person was also the head of Biden's security.
Yeah.
Who was put on that detail.
Yeah.
I have my feelings about it.
Yeah.
I definitely think there were some ulterior motives that moved along that timeline.
Well, the lack of answers and transparency just leaves people to ask questions, doesn't it?
It's the lack of answers from the people who should be answering.
Yes.
And the amount of video that has gone public now.
This ain't JFK, baby. You don't get
exactly showing what actually transpired.
Yeah. I feel sorry for the government. They used to have 10 years to get a story together.
Yeah, they can't. No, man, they can't be fleecing people no more.
I mean, it's terrible.
Can't be fleecing people no more.
It's a hard job.
It is. It really is. Like, I feel it. I understand there are certain things that you need to keep out of the public view for a certain amount of time. But, just in case.
Right.
Just in case. But at the same point in time, this is not okay.
Yeah. No, we were at a party and I was in company that has very passionate views on both sides politically, what's going on in the country right now. And one of them seemed a little gleeful. And then I was like, listen, I get it. You're not a fan, but you don't want this because this will cause the wheels to come off this bus real quick. You just don't want that. We don't want, and I'm not a fan of the other side. But I want them safe.
So I have to be careful with the next thing I'm going to say. I don't think people realize how close we are to certain events.
Yes.
And how tense things are actually.
Yes.
And if elections go a particular way, it is not going to end well for anyone.
No. It's got to be clean. It's got to be above board. I I don't know of anyone that minds.
I'm just going to say it. We don't need a warmonger in office.
No.
We need someone who can throw a little bit of confidence up there
Yep.
and calm it down.
Yep.
We don't want this to happen.
No, I get it. We need all the passions to just temper a little bit. We need rationale and reason to sort of take over a little bit, because we're just on the edge. And the rhetoric on all of it has just gotten to where it's just fueling people that are already angry.
Yeah.
And you put that in the backdrop of COVID and then this inflationary effect that the economy has had since then. And people are stressed. They're under stress.
They're under stress. I can't help but feel like it's on purpose.
Yeah, I agree. To a certain
because
extent.
the more you get them focused on these things, and I'm not going to say minutia, but it is a lot of minutia like things that are just stacking up, adding up, doing all that kind of stuff to keep us distracted from everything else going on.
I agree.
You know, it's this whole thing with like the trans movements and stuff like that. It's another distraction for people to focus on. It's another thing for them to
get irritated about.
It's propaganda.
Yeah.
It's propaganda. You know, I joke about it with my family and stuff like that, but this is 1984.
Yeah.
If you've ever read that book, you will understand the statement that was just made.
Yeah. I got it. I'm right there with you. Well, it's true. It is propaganda. It is true that we are being conditioned to just be agitated. And I think it's nothing more than this. To sell something, you have to create a problem if you're trying to sell solutions. And so we have a reward system.
We have a reward system on problems.
So that they can come in and sell a faux. I mean, it's like you, a gym owner that also owns McDonald's. And you're trying your best to pump out as many Big Macs and fries so that you can turn back around and say, come work. I mean,
so let's just talk about Planet Fitness real quick.
Let's talk, since we're talking about Planet Fitness.
Since we're talking about this and just the fact that it doesn't make sense.
No.
Bagels and pizza are nice. Everybody loves them.
Sure.
I get it. Stop telling people not to lift weight in your gyms and then just feeding them. You know how many homeless people make enough money to keep a Planet Fitness membership just so they can use the showers and get the free food? So many.
It's not a gym.
It's not.
It's a club.
Honestly, if you look at it,
with some opportunity to sweat.
Their business documents, the whole thing is they don't want people in the building.
Yeah. They want you to forget about that.
They do.
Yeah.
They just want to take your subscription, not have to maintain the equipment, not have to really maintain the building, and just put a face on. I cannot stand them.
I get it. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan either. You know, I don't know. You probably wasn't here. This is an off-color joke, but one of the local proprietors of that, he was a franchise owner.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention which one because I don't want to get in trouble here.
No, you're good. You're good.
But somewhere close to us, he got in trouble because apparently they were spying in on the tanning bedroom. Okay. And it became public news here.
That's not okay.
So I'm friends with the gym owner over here, as you know, at any time.
Right.
So Bert, and I told Bert, I says, what do I have to do to get any, notoriety? I've put a welcome mat out in front of the tanning bed. I've left it open.
Listen, man, I've been inviting. It's y'all's fault for not taking advantage of it.
He just laughed. He says,
the audacity of these people not to walk in.
I'm telling you, I'm working out. I'm eating better. Come on.
I just want to show it off. Okay. There's nothing wrong with this.
So what that since we're segueing, one of the things that has helped my stress and anxiety and mental well-being that I did not see this coming was my physical journey.
Yep.
As a business owner, I've been on TW3. We started back in 2008. And before that, I was in the music business. So I've been a business owner since really 1998. it's always a stressful. You have the ebb and flow of business, the ups and downs of economies, societies, markets, everything changes and you're constantly changing it. You're having a wife and children, life happens. And so stress happens. And so over the years, when it came to a head in 2019, I was at 320 some odd pounds.
That's not good.
Not good at all.
No.
5'10", 320, not good. And had psoriasis and all this other stuff, skin problems, just terrible. So I went to the doctor and he gave me this psoriasis medicine that basically the way it works is it suppresses your immune system, which, as you know, what happened in the preceding months was basically a pandemic. And like, I don't have an immune system now because of this medication. And we're going,
that's not a good idea.
I said, what am I doing? So it compelled me. I got to get in shape. That's the only way to fix this. Because I had a doctor who's a friend of mine and said, Terry, wouldn't help you to, eat a piece of lettuce and walk occasionally. That would solve a lot of your problems.
The amount of problems that can be solved simply through stepping on a treadmill for about 15 minutes. This is crazy, right? And I was listening to Stan Efferding talk about this for a while. 3 10-minute walks a day. That's it. That's all you got to do. Wow. You want to lose some weight? Cool. Eat breakfast. Go for a 10-minute walk. And I'm not talking a casual, leisurely stroll. It's not, I'm walking the dog so that she can go to the bathroom. No, you are walking with a purpose.
Right.
All right. You're trying to hit that 2.5, 3.5 miles per hour. Get a little light sweat going on. Mm-hmm. It's going to help you digest your food. It's going to help you stabilize your insulin levels. It's going to help you with synthesis and breakdown of the food that you just... It's so good for you. It'll help you control all that stuff. You'll see weight loss from it because you just increase your activity levels.
Yeah.
It's insanely easy to make this stuff happen. And it's the last thing that is ever prescribed to people.
Isn't that weird?
It is the death of me. I heavily considered becoming a PA and all that kind of stuff because I love physical therapy. I think physical therapy is freaking amazing. I want to see it more available to people and not hidden behind such a massive paywall. Right. I don't want it to become what is the American healthcare system,
right? Where
you have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for Motrin.
It's crazy.
That costs you like $5 a bottle at Walgreens.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think physical therapy is really cool. I'm not dogging on it. I think that it can be applied just like exercise science and through personal training, though. Mm-hmm. There's no reason why a doctor can't diagnose somebody with cardiopulmonary distress or some sort of high blood pressure, weight, obesity, anything like that, and say, cool, here's your prescription. Your prescription is exercise. These are a list of coaches in the area.
Yeah.
That is 100% something that they can do and just don't.
They can do it. It's more affordable and it has better results. Proven every time, better results.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how your body is going to respond to whatever medication. It could be the greatest medication out there in the world, but you're the one person that, 1 out of 100 that has an adverse respect.
Exactly.
Everybody benefits from moving.
Exactly. Hey, I'm not saying don't take your Tylenol, don't take a pain med or something like that if you need to every now and again. The long-term way to resolve all of those issues, go move.
Yeah.
I don't care how you move.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, because I specifically focus on powerlifting and strongman. I do a lot with strength training. I love it. I think it's amazing. I also don't feel a lot of people are very comfortable with it. You talk to somebody about exercise and most of the time they're like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I'm going to go start running.
Yeah.
That ain't going to do nothing for you.
Right.
Like it's going to do a little bit. You're going to have reducing returns. It's going to decline at some point in time. And then you're just going to be like, well, why aren't I still losing weight? Well, it's because you're not putting on muscle. You want to lose weight? Cool. Put on muscle.
Yeah.
Muscle is more metabolically active. You're going to have a higher calorie output per day. And then you're going to be better off.
Yeah.
Plus you're going to look better.
Well, see, that's what happened to me. That's exactly my journey because first thing that a coach did for me, and I think I told you this, but I didn't even go to a physical coach. It was a mindset
mental health coach. Yeah, he told me about this.
Yeah, a podcaster friend of mine that I saw that he had lost all his weight, and I was like, "What's the deal?" And the one thing he did, and it probably sounds elementary to you, but he just made it accessible. I thought exercise was killing yourself. And just what you said a few minutes ago about just take 3 10-minute walks a day.
Yeah.
That's about how accessible he made it. He says, I want you on a treadmill. I want it at 3.0. I want you over time to just incline, but never go above 3.0 and just make the incline. But here's what you're looking for. You got an Apple Watch. Watch your heart rate. Keep it at 120.
Yeah.
Give or take. And do that for an hour a day. Now, he told me an hour. And I'm telling you, within a month, I was dropping weight like it was
It's that simple.
Now, it did eventually. I plateaued.
Yep. But
here's the thing. I had lost so much weight at that time. I was feeling better, and that competitive juices that I have in business started coming into my physical life. I want to lift something here.
Because you're not carrying around all that weight all the time.
Yes.
The other thing is all that excess fat, especially for dudes. When you have excess body fat to that extent, your estrogen levels are through the roof. And your T levels take a hit, which means you have less drive. You have less sex drive. You have less of a want to compete. You have less of a want to do things. You're more tired. You're more sluggish. Anxiety and depression go through the roof.
Yeah.
It gets really bad.
Yeah.
So,
well, the inner beast just turned to a bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty much what happened to me. And now all of a sudden it woke up again.
That is exactly what happens. You go from like, man, I feel like a stud in high school, college. I am good. I am golden.
Where's the wall? I'm going to walk through it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go through the nearest wall and nobody's going to stop me.
Exactly.
So all of a sudden you're like, nah, man, that blade of grass right there is looking kind of shifty. I don't want to do nothing with that.
I'll just lay right here.
Yeah. I'm gonna just stay in the shade. Where's that chair?
Exactly. Yeah, it was amazing, but I wasn't shocked by the physical part as much as I was the mental part. The mental part of physical fitness cannot be, I think, overstated. We're in a if you believe the reports and everything, we're in a mental health crisis. I believe it's simply because of the advent of COVID and all the stuff that's going on. People's heads are in social media. They're not out in front of people anymore. We don't talk anymore. So we have conditioned our entire society just to go crazy.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. How much time do you spend inside staring at this backlit screen, projecting all this crap and
Just
garbage and what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat, what you should be, what you shouldn't be, what a man is, what a blah, 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 blah. All of this
Who to
nonsense,
be mad at.
rather than taking some time, putting your phone away, going out into the nearest park,
Yeah.
and just letting it process. We don't give ourselves time to process information.
No.
We don't. We don't take a pause. We don't take a break. We don't do any of that. And it is one of the most important things we can do for ourselves is take time to stop and breathe. And you know what? If that's your exercise time, go for it, my man. If you want to go run because running is the time that you get to just let your brain go onto the back burner and make the soup, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go nuts.
Yeah.
You will learn so much about yourself during that time.
Oh, this is literally, I think why my routine became addictive to me and is still addictive, is it's that hour a day that I'm just to myself and my thoughts, thinking, meditating, praying.
It's awesome, isn't it?
It is just absolutely amazing. And the synapses during that time period too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm rapid fire. It ain't like, me sitting at a table and no. When you're pushing something hard and heavy and all that blood and everything is just streaming through your body, and then you're trying to think at the same time. Oh man, it's like answers show up.
Yeah.
And then what I literally today, I walked into the gym irritated, a little bit blue about something that I'm dealing with. When I left that gym today, I was like, why am I even worried about it? It's nonsense. It's all of a sudden I can contextualize problems as well. They're not as big.
You find clarity.
Yeah.
You find clarity. No, I get the number one thing I do whenever I'm pissed off, frustrated, anything like that, is stop and think about it for a second and say, hey, is this something that I can resolve right now? If I can't resolve it within the next 5 seconds, I'm probably going to go grab the leash for my dog, leash her up and say, hey, let's go for a walk. Let's go to a park. Let's go do something.
Yeah.
Let's just get out of here and take a minute to think.
Yeah.
in some sort of exercise way. Even if it's as simple as going to the dog park and just throwing a ball for your dog.
Yeah.
Hey, you're still doing something.
Yeah.
You're still moving blood. You're still letting yourself think about those things. It's going to get results.
Inspiring, informative, and informational.
This is TTW3.
Welcome, fellow leaders, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Today, I invite you to step into a world where greatness is not just a goal, but a collective reality. Introducing the Elite Mastermind Group by TW3, a sanctuary for those seeking not just success, but exponential growth. It's more than a group. It's a synergy of minds, a convergence of aspirations, and a breeding ground for extraordinary accomplishments. You'll learn not only from experts, but from the stories of those beside you, fellow trailblazers who weathered storms and conquered obstacles, enriching your own journey. Imagine being surrounded by a league of highly motivated business owners and entrepreneurs, each driven by the same passion for success, propelling each other towards greatness. Embrace the power of networking, the art of learning, and the joy of sharing your value. It's not just about what you gain, but what you contribute. Dare to be exceptional. Dare to be part of the elite. Don't just dream of success. Surround yourself with those who are already living it. Join the Elite Mastermind Group by TW3. Elevate your success. Elevate your life.
Now, if you know what you're worth, go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hit. Yeah. And not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that and that ain't you. You're better than that.
This is TTW3.
Might not be fast results, but it's going to get results. Anytime that you increase yourself over just sitting in a chair, laying on your bed, cool. Well, you burned more calories than you did sitting in a chair or laying on your bed.
Yep.
Goal achieved.
Yep.
You move forward.
Yep.
It's that simple.
Yeah. And the other thing, sometimes in business and in life, we have goals and we have things we want to achieve, and we're just not getting. We're trying our efforts there, but just for whatever reason, we haven't met it, and we're still working on it. But the one thing I like, and so if you just have this business or you just have this family, and you want your kids to act right, or you're trying to work things out with your spouse, or the relationships are going sideways, or the business isn't working. Sometimes you can't control those things because it's third parties. It's people outside of you. You can't control other people. But when I work out, I can control how much weight I put on that bar.
Mm-hmm.
And I can say, okay, today we're squatting this, but by next week, I want to be squatting this. And I can in real time, where life is not, I'm failing here and I'm failing here. This right here, I'm not going to fail at. It gives me something to win at.
It's something that you can walk into and control every single
and
time.
Every man especially has got to have that. No man wants to walk around defeated.
Well, and that's just it. You're always going to feel defeated if you feel like you're out of control.
Yeah.
And there are so many things in life that you can't control. I find myself with an abundance of those right now.
Absolutely.
Right? I broke off like 10 years, if not more, of my life, left it behind in Texas and moved to a brand new state to start over. I am starting from the bottom and trying to build myself back up over here.
Yeah.
You better believe I felt like things were out of my control.
Sure.
So what did I do? I went back to the basics. I know that I can control my workouts. I know that I'm going to work out. I know that I can control my nutrition. I know that I can control the flow of my day within a level of comfort. So I do that.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to take my dog for a walk. I know I'm going to go to the gym. I know I'm going to eat some food.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to do this. Cool. That gave me control. I know I'm going to read scriptures.
Yeah. Yeah. Feeding your mind.
Exactly.
The word. That's right.
I know that I'm going to do all those things. And I do those things to avoid that feeling of loss of control, hopelessness, all those things. It is one of the few things that keeps me sane throughout my day sometimes.
It's foundational work, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mind, soul, and body. It's foundational work. I find out what God says about me. Then I meditate on what I say about me, make sure it lines up with what he says about me. And then I go and put some activity behind it. So it's not just philosophy and theology, but actually I'm moving something.
Exactly. So all right. So 3F strength conditioning, right? Here's what the 3Fs stand for. It's faith, family, and freedom in that order.
Yeah.
Because faith, whatever your faith is, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Find God, find Allah, find Vishnu, find Buddha, find what makes you feel right with the world and lets you understand that, hey, there are going to be some things out of my control, but there is something larger than me that has it under control and will help me. They have my back, and I just need to understand that.
Yeah.
That will help you to be more present for your family and be more available for them. And when those two things are in control, you're going to feel free.
Yeah. 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 And everybody wants to feel free.
Yeah.
You're born to be free. We were born, not to be subjugated.
Yeah. And that's just it. Like that freedom, people are going to look at me like, oh, free, I can go do whatever I want. There's still rules, there's still regulations, but that freedom is what's going to give you control.
Right.
To experience the things that you want to experience. And that's why it's important.
I think because, I don't know if I told you, but I'm a pastor.
You did.
We
talked
up in Spindale. And a lot of times when we talk, because, we talk about it was freedom that Christ set you free. It was for freedom that he set you. It was for in other words, it wasn't just to be branded as free, but actually to have freedom. So it's not just
agency.
Yeah. Agency, self-efficacy, to be able to.
He gave us the ability to choose or not choose.
Right. Choose you this day.
Right.
I choose this. You do you, boo.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, you know who's the one who's going to have to deal with it? Me.
Exactly.
And my stubborn A.
Exactly.
So I had to come to terms of like, am I really okay with this? Or did I make a bad choice?
But I think it's a unevolved or not fully maturated idea to say, because I used to say it, oh, if I have freedom, I'm free to do what I want. That is technically true, but it's not fully evolved.
Yeah.
I think true freedom for me, this is just me, is not necessarily I can do whatever I want, but I don't have to do the things that I used to do to get by. That's true freedom.
Absolutely. Freedom to me is
freedom from something.
It's the ability to choose.
Yeah.
It's the ability to have choice.
Yeah.
That is what freedom is. Whether that's choosing to not have to do the things that you used to have to do to survive.
Yeah.
Building a better base so you can choose from the things that you want to do versus what you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I fully get that, man. That's a good way to put it.
I'm freedom from, not freedom to. We are free to do within our legal confines and our biological confinement and theological confinement. I mean, we're confined to a certain, we don't want to get too far into free will and all that stuff, but there are limitations. I mean, I can't just say, hey, I want to jump off the roof and fly. I'm not free to do that.
Yeah, like that's not exactly I had.
Yeah, but I think when we first get started with this whole idea, I'm working for freedom, because the reason I bring this up is not to beat a dead horse, but a lot of times we work with a lot of people that want to start businesses, and I want freedom to own my own business, to be the man rather than work for the man. They hear, some of the mantras that we espouse here, and that's all true. But there's a maturity that you can't be an entrepreneur with an employee mindset. You can't, because as an employee, if I'm not happy with what I'm paid, I'm not happy with what I do, I'm not happy with the culture, I've always got someone else to blame. The moment I'm the entrepreneur, I'm the business owner, I don't have the freedom.
It's all on me, man.
Yeah. But see, as simple as that sounds,
it is so challenging to wrap your mind around.
It's profound for a lot of people because we intellectually get it, but emotionally we're still tied to, I need an out. I need someone to blame if it's got that, when there is no
No, there's not. It's extremely difficult, and so I only recently opened up 3F strength conditioning, right? I've been doing coaching for a number of years. I never incorporated myself. I kind of like dabbled in it a little bit as a side hustle, did a little bit here, did a little bit there, but never really broke free because I never felt like I was ready to finally just make the plunge and make it happen.
Right.
Came out here and I was like, I am never going back to work for somebody else if I can avoid it.
Right.
The only thing that will put me there is if I need the income to pay for something for my kids or something.
It will be sheer necessity.
It will be sheer necessity. And that is the only thing that will bring me back to working for somebody else. But I got to tell you, first couple weeks, insanely rough because, man, I really wanted somebody else to blame for my lack of productivity.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I was sharing with a young man that I care a lot about just the other day. And I was like, and we tend to jostle. Well, I don't mind saying it's one of my kids.
Sure.
We were jostling back and forth about, worldviews.
Sure.
And politics and all this other stuff. And
always a fun conversation.
Always a fun conversation. And he's of his generation that has had an experience that has shaped their perspective. And I am a generation that has a different perspective. But I'm not giving one more credence than the other. We all have our vantage points, right?
Yeah.
And I finally said, I need to talk to you as a father, not as a friend, just jostling here and debating politics.
Yeah. Break conversation, move to new.
I said, I just want, I don't care where you land on your politics. I really don't. You'll always be my son, love you no matter what. That's irrelevant to me. But as a father, I want to see you happy.
Mm-hmm.
More than anything, I want to see a life that's happy, that's fulfilled, that is, rewarding to you. Because you only get one shot at this, so make it count. And I was like, any worldview that says I am where I'm at because of this person or that person, and I can't do any better until this person or that person changes, is a worldview that is keeping you incarcerated.
Yes. Because
the benevolence of any bureaucrat or any belief system, I don't care if it's left or right. I was telling my TW3 is TW3. Our business is our business. We're going to do what we're going to do no matter who's in the White House.
Exactly.
And I can't blame anybody. And I don't put my hopes in, well, if they go over there and they change this, now can they make things easier for me? Of course.
Can they make things harder? Yeah.
Of course. But at the end of the day, it's up to me to say, oh, the rules of the game has changed. Used to, you only got a step and a half in the NBA. Now you can take 2.5 step, Euro step. It's changed. Well, I have, as the entrepreneur, I have to change with it.
Exactly. It's up to us to decide whether we want to change and adapt, or if we just want to say, no, I give up.
Yeah. And I think people are struggling right now because we are putting our hope and our trust and our faith in people and in things. And the thing I love about health and what you're advocating and even in your faith and your family is take control of those things that you are the only person that has rightful control over. You get to choose who do you believe. Mm-hmm. You get to choose who's going to be your God. You get to choose what doctrine and theology you follow. You get to choose what your family's going to look like. Mm-hmm. Choose it wisely. I would advocate, and build yourself up. I love that. I don't know if you listen to Jordan Peterson any. Do you listen to him any?
I have heard some of his stuff.
I think we talked about it.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it. I've heard some of his stuff.
He's got this thing on, I heard it first from him, and then I had to go back and sort of fact check him to make sure, because as a pastor, I don't want to repeat this and it not be true, but it's actually true. So it's really good. But there's an old Chinese proverb that you've probably heard that says it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Man, that one has been coming up so much for me lately. I'm actually I'm even starting to design a sleeve that I'm going to put over on my arm for that one.
Yeah.
Because I love that quote.
Well, if you heard, you probably, because you come from a Christian background, correct? So
to answer that question, yes. For those of you not watching a video, yes, I do. I shook my head.
This is an audio podcast. He did give the affirmative.
I did.
So the Sermon on the Mount, where Jesus said, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth."
Yeah.
Have you done a word study on that?
Not recently.
Well, if you look at the context of what those people at that time understood him to say, not what we're trying to project on what he's trying to say, he's not talking about a personality type,
no,
or an attitude. He's talking about blessed are those who keep their swords sheathed.
The meek, the humble,
yeah,
the willing to listen.
Yeah.
And it's not saying that, because, all right, so the willing to listen, great. Some people are like, oh, he's talking about being a sheep. Blah, blah. No, I'm not talking about being a sheep. You can be a lion or an alpha male or a sigma, whatever you want to call yourself to make yourself feel good. I don't really care. Go do your affirmations. All right. Whatever you need to call yourself to make it happen, you can still look and say, hey, I need to shut up and listen and look for prompting.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how many times a day I stop what I'm doing and say, am I actually doing the right thing?
Yeah.
And I wait.
Yeah. Don't assume.
I wait for the answer. If I don't get an answer, then he probably doesn't care. It's one of those things you can go either way and be all right. If you do get an answer, well, you better act.
Absolutely. Well, that verse there is actually the equivalent to that Chinese proverb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep your sword sheathed. It's not that we're weak. It's not that we don't have self-efficacy. It's not that we can't. It's not that we're beholden to the benevolence of others. It's not that we're just this blob, no muscle mass, no nothing. We're just eating our popcorn. Can't do. No, we have done our due diligence to make ourselves as strong as we can physically, emotionally, spiritually. And then at that position, the metaphor is, I got a sword. I can take anybody's head off I need to,
Exactly.
but I choose not to.
And that's where the strength
I choose
is.
to be. Yes.
That's where the strength is.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh God, it is. No, it's funny that you brought it up because it really is. It's one of my favorites. It's been popping up in feeds, YouTube, all that kind of stuff so often for me lately. And it's just a good quote, whichever one you decide to go with. If you're not a big Bible fan, I get it. Not everybody is, but man, if that's one that you can internalize and really take to your soul, do it.
Well, the philosophy's there.
Yeah.
However you need to have it articulated so you get it, but do what you have to do to make yourself.
Mm-hmm. To make yourself right, to make yourself strong.
Yeah.
Because it takes a very weak man to fly off the handle and express that rage and anger. It takes here, you know what? I'm going to say it in a way that more people will get it. Avengers.
Yes.
Marvel Avengers, the first movie. Right?
Yes.
What does Banner say when Cap is talking to him? And he's like, what's your secret? How do you not stay as the Hulk all the time? He says he's always angry.
Mm-hmm.
It is very similar.
Yeah.
He always has the anger present within himself. It is always there. It is something he knows is always there and that he can uncap and unsheath whenever he needs to use it.
Yeah.
And that's the key. I'm not going to go walk around and say, oh, well, I'm pissed off, angry every single day, and I'm just waiting to fly, I'm like a bottle that's just ready to pop, right?
Yeah.
No. But I know that at the given moment that I need to, if I need to, I can pull out that sword and use it.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it.
That sword, that competency gives you the wherewithal to walk in a manner that you are stepping in the areas you need to step in and you're not backing down.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not because you're trying to bully or push your way or whatever. And it takes a strong man in today's society to lead a family, to be a father, to be a husband, to be, especially in the culture that we've sort of found ourselves in, where we've got terms like toxic masculinity and all that, which I'm not saying there's not some, I'm a Bill Burr fan. So I know there's some guys out there.
Oh, there are some winners out there.
And those guys should be put under the jail. I'm not saying that, but I would advocate to those who are against that behavior. Listen, I had a father. The reason I was raised by a single mother, he's a weak man, very weak man. Why was he a weak man? Because he beat us like redheaded stepchildren. He'd come home and he was upset and he would throw things and he'd beat my mother. He'd be, not to get too but that's not male. That's not a strong man. That's not a man that's built himself up. That's a weak man. That's a man that hasn't been in the gym, hasn't been in the church, hasn't been in his Bible, hasn't been on his knees.
So this may be a little controversial, but I'm gonna throw some shade on the opposite foot here because so I said it in the front. My ex-wife.
Yep.
I am recently divorced.
Yep.
And that was an interesting series of events.
Sure.
Because, so I admit, when I came back from my deployment, I wasn't right. Obviously, I did some things out there that I'm not proud of, that I struggled with. I still struggle with. It took me a while to be able to talk about those things. They're hard.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, my wife, at the time, decided that she wanted to get divorced from me. She had said, because I was abusive or because I was all this other kind of stuff. Now, I will defend myself to the day I die on this, that I never once raised a hand to my wife or my children, because that is a weak person.
Mm-hmm.
And for me to have the Christian background that I have, I served in a bishopric for a while. I just won't do that. I don't need to, especially because I just came back from a war zone where I had to unsheath that sword and use it a couple times.
Sure.
I know that I didn't need to use it there. Did I raise my voice a few times? Yes. However, I will say that there are women out there that will openly take advantage of men at their weakest point.
Yep.
Because when she divorced me, I had quit my job to finish my bachelor's degree to go and get a better life for my kids, to give them everything that I didn't have when I was young. And she was unwilling to talk it out, try to work with it, or anything like that. And this is my perspective.
Sure.
Right? So take that all with a grain of salt. But
I don't see any.
It's not just on the men.
Oh, absolutely not.
To sheath the swords.
Right.
The women got to do it too.
Absolutely. Well, this ain't a male that it's strong people have the wherewithal but choose not to. She was operating out of fear, and you were operating out of weakness because of what you've been beat down emotionally, spiritually, and so by your own admission, you were in a weak place coming back from all that. So you got someone that's operating selfishly, working with someone that's in a weak spot. That's a recipe for absolute disaster. But that doesn't push back against what we've established, that when we are walking in our utmost, and when we're all strong, you as a man, my wife, and me as a man and my wife, she's got to be walking. She's got to have her sword sheathed too. It takes two.
It absolutely
takes
does.
two, and it only takes one. It only takes one to screw it up. But it takes two to make it right. It just does.
Absolutely.
But that's why it's so important. This isn't a male female thing. This is a person thing. We all need to be working out, eating right, having our heads in books that's going to feed our souls, not in social media trash and daytime TV trash and all this other stuff. Because that's just sugar nonsense.
You mean I can't keep reading my romance novels?
Well, you can. Does this shirt make me look? No.
No.
An occasional donut, maybe. But if that's the only diet you always have.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm ashamed to say it, but years ago, for most of our adult life, we ate takeout food. We ate sugary desserts. I mean, there's jokes that's been on this podcast. People can go back in the archives and look where I left at 1:00 in the morning one night because we all had a sugar craving and went to Krispy Kreme Donuts downtown Spartanburg and got 24 donuts to bring back and they called me Glaze Runner. I mean, I came in and my hands already had glaze on them because I'd eaten so many. But, you know, while it's fun and I still love a donut, I just know it's cancer. I mean, that's just absolute, it's killing me. And so, yeah.
I mean, don't deprive yourself, right? Like, if you want to have that donut every now and again, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. But
and if you want to read that romance novel every once in a while,
exactly,
it might be okay if it's okay with you. You know, it's like what Paul said. Some things I can do. I'm free to do all things, but not all things are profitable.
Yeah.
Yeah. What can you do? What you need to know you. What can you read that or eat that and it be one enough? See, I personally can't eat donuts because one's not enough.
I mean, I can't remember the last time I had a donut. I can't even remember the last time I did. Good
now, my
night.
wife can have a half a donut. It fixes her sugar fix and she goes on.
Done. Yep.
But I don't want one donut. I want 2 boxes. I'm an alcoholic. It's like, I don't want a beer.
Exactly.
I want all of them.
So you just got to swear it. No, dude, I get it. Like there was definitely a time where I would consider myself an alcoholic. And since that point in time, I was like, I saw it happening. I saw it creep up on me. I said, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I remember just grabbing bottles out the rack, pouring them down the sink, throwing them out and being like, never going to drink again. Have not drank since.
Well, it's now see, I'm right opposite. I might have a drink every once in a while. I mean, once in a blue moon on a social thing. But I have family that they don't need to, one drip and that's all it takes. And they're back at, so everybody's got to know each other.
Exactly.
And know what's good for you,
And but it goes back to what we were saying earlier, where it's like, you got to take time to know yourself.
Yeah.
You got to take time to sit, let stuff get in the back burner. What better time than when you're in the gym?
Yes.
Your body is busy.
Yeah.
Moving weight, running on a treadmill, doing whatever exercise you've decided to accomplish that day. Cool. Well, just let your brain wander. Yeah. Let it dive. Let it go deep into you. Work on that mentality.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's often imitated,
but never duplicated.
You are listening to the TerryWilson3.com podcast,
the home of TW3.
So if you're still cold calling or pestering your friends and family online, then please stop. Why, you ask? Well, because you don't have to anymore, you dope. My friends at TerryWilson3.com have over 200 million leads. That's right. Over 220 million leads that are saying, please, mister, please sell me something. So the next time you need leads, have Terry's team get you a list of leads that actually want and could afford your products or service. Go to TerryWilson3.com/lead list now and get over 1,000 leads for less than $70. That is crazy. Over 1,000 leads for under $70, but you have to act. Go to TerryWilson3.com/lead list and get a list of leads that actually would want to buy your shake product.
Attention business owners, entrepreneurs, and organizations. Are you looking to take your online presence to the next level? Look no further. For a limited time, Terry Wilson 3 is offering free high-end business websites to the first few lucky listeners who respond to this offer. These are not your average run-of-the-mill websites. Our websites are designed with SEO in mind, ensuring that your business stands out from the competition and generates leads like never before. Plus, each website comes equipped with an e-commerce shopping cart solution, making it easier than ever to sell your products online. But wait, there's more. For a nominal fee, you can add an AI chatbot to your website, providing your customers with instant support and increasing engagement. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. Visit TerryWilson3.com/hosting now to claim your free website while supplies last. Act fast, as this offer won't be around forever. Transform your business and start generating leads today with a high-end website from Terry Wilson 3. That's TerryWilson3.com/hosting.
When words are not enough to really show your heart.
When you want to send more than just words, send your best, send your blessing, send a gift that speaks to the heart.
Flower shop. When feelings need demonstrated right from.
Go to Blessed Blooms Flower Shop and Gifts.com to have Amy design a special message, gift, or arrangement for you today.
Flower shop. Blessed blooms.
Give a gift that speaks to the heart. From flowers to specialized gifts.
Blessed blooms, flower shop and gifts.
Call today 864-702-3307. That's 864-702-3307.
Oh, someone comes to you, they're brand new to working out. They've never done this before. What can they expect? What are you going to help them with? Give the guys a little, 2-minute spiel on why they need to contact you if they're a beginner or they've been doing it for a while. Talk to both, because I've got both folks I've got tons of people that are on the edge of maybe doing something. So talk to them. And then I've got some people that they've been doing things, but maybe they've plateaued. What can they expect from you and how can you help them?
So for those of you who are new, thinking about jumping into exercise and doing all the other kind of stuff, just take the plunge. Stop thinking about it. Yeah. Just do it. That's the best suggestion I can give. The reason you want to talk to somebody like me is because I've been there. When I was a kid, I didn't do a lot. I didn't do any like sports or anything like that. I didn't get into this stuff later. I had a dad who was very inactive. So I figured this out really late in life. And because of that, I took it to heart. And my number one goal is to get people healthy. I don't care how it happens. I'm going to work with you at whatever level you're at, and I'm going to make sure you do it safe. All right. As I said, used to work in physical therapy. I don't leave that off the table now that I'm a personal trainer. That is heavily incorporated. And I want to make sure that you're not just strong, but you are able.
Yeah.
All right. My goal is to make it so you never break. As for those of you who are a little bit more advanced, just come talk to me because I love the conversation, man. What was your journey? What got you there? If I can give you some advice, heck yeah, let's do it. I would love to just have that chance to even see if I can help you. If I can, great. If I can't, hey, you know what? I probably know somebody who can.
Gotcha.
That's why you want to come talk to me.
Gotcha.
Because if I can't help you, I'm going to get you to the person who can. And if you're new and you're getting into the gym, I've been there. I have family members who are there, who are talking to me, and they're going through the same process right now. I will happily introduce you to them. I don't want to make you feel like you're alone when you're doing this kind of stuff. And I want to let you know that any activity is good activity.
Yeah.
So we're probably not going to focus a lot on the exercise on the upfront. We're going to focus a lot on you.
Yeah.
And making sure that you're strong and mentally able, and you want to build the efficacy in yourself to continue this process. That's how I'm going to train you.
Nice. I like that. I like the whole holistic because it's not just a physical thing. It really is.
It's not.
My personal belief, but I'm not a trained therapist and I don't know what I'm talking about here. Admittedly, I'm just talking from my experience. But for me, it was more about my thinking than anything else.
I feel like it's that way for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I feel like it's that way for a lot of people. So, all right. If I'm talking to you and I'm your coach and I'm training you, cool, you paid me. You're coming because you paid me.
Right.
So when you stop paying me, well, did I do a good job at making fitness a part of your life so that you continue that process when you stop seeing me? Or did I just make it another job for you to do?
Right. Yeah.
Honestly, like, I would love for people to stay on long term with me, but an ideal client is somebody who wants to come, talk to me for 3 months, get themselves right, and then move on. Try something on their own for a little while. Find what makes them happy. Find the type of exercise that they enjoy.
Yeah.
And tell me all about it. Yeah. I'd love to hear it.
That's true. And people are different. People are so different. You're right. There's some people that need just that direction and that repositioning of what a workout routine actually is. Because so many, especially if you're just starting out, you might be feeling overwhelmed just hearing people talk about going to the gym once a day.
Yeah.
It can be so, because it was for me. And your mind, you might even intellectually say, yeah, it's good for you and you should do that. But emotionally, you are just like, I don't want to do this. That one more thing. You got all that negative gravity that's just pulling you and holding you back.
Well, I need to do this so I have my snatch waist and I look good in my yoga pants, or I need to do this so that I can take my shirt off at the beach. And no, you need to do this because you want to do it for your health, because you want to do it for your longevity. You want to do it for you.
Yep.
That's why you need to do it. And that's what I'm going to try and get you to.
And it's going to affect every part. Trust me, folks, it's going to affect every part of your life. Yeah, you're physically going to get better, but man, the emotional payoff and even the spiritual payoff, there's so many things you're going to get from it if you've never done it before. And if you have done it and you just have a hard time sticking with it, I tell you, there's nothing better than having someone in your corner that's going to be an accountability. I know that's a dirty word that people don't hear, but it's not a heavy word. You know, some of you, if you might be like my wife doesn't need to be yelled at, screamed at. And I know, Tim, you wouldn't do that anyway. But if you want to see my wife succeed, have her commit to someone else that she's going to do something with them, that she's going to be there at a certain time. She will come hell or high water. She's just one of those, hey, I told Tim I was going to be there. I got to be there. And if it was left up to just her going by herself, she don't mind quitting on herself. She don't mind, but if she told you and you're there waiting on her, she's going to be there. Some of you have that personality type that's like that.
And that's just what some people need. Hey, yeah. I'm here for it. I'm all in.
Yeah.
I will be the person you have to be responsible to, because if you don't show up, I will text you.
Yeah.
And it will be a text laden with sarcasm.
Sure.
Or, a whole bunch of like, we missed you. This is the gym. Why is this bar empty? Where are, I will throw shade for days.
Look at this empty treadmill.
Man, this thing, I feel like there's supposed to be somebody here.
I think this treadmill's putting on weight.
Weird how that happened.
Oh my word.
Yeah, I have no problem throwing shade at clients. And if clients want me to go full drill sergeant on them, I'm not really a fan of it. But hey, man, if that's what motivates you, I've had clients that have said it. Like, I need you to just be all up in.
Everybody's motivated different. Yeah.
I need you to be all up in my butt to just make me move. And I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. That's cool. I'll do it. I'm not going to yell at you though, because this is a public place and other people are going to get scared. Like, they're never going to want to come talk to me because I'm over here yelling at you.
But that's the point. You got to find out what motivates that person and play that role.
And that's the game, that's the game for, like, whenever you meet a new personal trainer, if they are not trying different approaches until they find the approach that works with you.
Yeah.
I highly suggest looking elsewhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because one method, I mean, it's just like, I've been a business coach now for, 16 years. And my first meeting, all I'm doing is sizing that person up, seeing what kind of personality type they are, what's their, ability as far as how do they hear things? Are they more, literal, or do I need to speak in metaphors to them? Because everybody understands and hears things differently.
You're compromising to find the medium in which it is best to communicate between the two of you.
Yes.
And whether they know it or not, they are too.
Yeah, that's true. They might not be intentional about it, but that's what they're subconsciously
when they
doing.
see that you're trying to meet them halfway, they are much more likely to meet you at that point as well.
Absolutely. Well, Tim, it was a great talk. If you guys want to connect with Tim, I'll have his links and contacts in this podcast. This is episode 612. You go to terrywilson3.com/612 to see it. And all of his contact information, links will be there. You can get connected up with him. And, of course, if you want a one-on-one and you're in the upstate, if you're one of our BSBA members or anybody, we got about 2,500 listeners here in the upstate that listen to this podcast, and several thousand around the country. But even if you're not in this area, he can still help you, refer you to someone. He does Zoom calls, and we're working with him to do some things online to where he can have some stuff and resources for you there as well.
I'm going to throw a quick plug in. This Saturday, the 3rd August, I will be at Iron House, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And I will be running a bench, squat, and deadlift clinic. If you want a opportunity to come and meet me, hang out with me, talk to me, bend my ear for a little bit, great time to do it. And plus, you get to check out Iron House.
Really Iron House in Spartanburg. What road is that off of?
That is a wonderful question. I've never paid attention to that.
I'll put that in the notes as well.
I'll figure it out.
Put that in the notes as well. Unfortunately, by the time they hear this, it's probably already come and gone if it's that quick.
Well, that's a shame. But there will be more in the future, so keep looking for them.
There'll be more in the future. We're recording this on August the 1st, and unfortunately, we're gonna. By the time you hear this, you've already missed it. Unfortunately,
but that's fine. Reach out to me. I'll schedule a 1-to-1 with you for
reach out.
It's all right.
Till next time, guys. Talk to you later.
Thank you for listening to our show today. If you have any questions or would like to speak with us about your goals, then please call or text us at 864-507-9696. Reach out to us online at terrywilson3.com.